So I hope you gave it a go of trying to design a system that can actually keep track of sessions accumulated throughout a day and reporting on a daily basis how many sessions your website saw. So here's one way to do it. Again, there are alternate solutions. This is not gospel, but here's how I went about thinking about the problem. So again, thinking about the customer requirements and working backwards from what the customer needs. The customer in this case is just an internal manager. So we don't have huge transaction requirements. We don't need low latency. We don't have a ton of transaction rate to deal with. And availability isn't even all that important. I mean, yeah, he's going to get grumpy if he doesn't get his numbers, but odds are he's willing to wait an hour while we reboot a server that's down. So given all that, that gives us a lot of freedom in the implementation we choose, so let's keep it as simple as possible, shall we? Now, we know that Spark Streaming, as well as other streaming technologies, have a way of keeping track of stateful information over a sliding window, so they're a perfect fit for keeping track of sessions as they come in from a website. I can just look at behavior over the past hour for a given user ID, for a given IP address, and figure out, as they come in, how many sessions have I seen. As for how I get that data in, Kafka is a perfectly reasonable option. Flume would be good as well. It kind of depends on what fits most easily into our architecture. In this case, I would kind of lean toward Kafka because I would think that that server information would be valuable to other people throughout the organization, and having a general purpose solution such as Kafka might be a wise choice. In fact, I'd be kind of surprised if you didn't have a system like that already in place in your organization that you could just tap into. So again, keep it simple. If you have an existing way of getting at that data already, don't build a new one. Don't implement Kafka if you don't need it. There might be an existing system to get that data already. And once I have that information, I have that session information coming in real time, I can dump it into Hive. Because again, there's no real requirement for real-time information here. And that's backed by HDFS, which is, scalable enough for our needs. Does the job, right? And then I can have an Oozie job just running periodically, like once a day, to actually kick off a SQL query to say, how many sessions did I see in the past day? It's just that simple, and output the result and send it to whoever needs it. So, pretty simple architecture here. I have web servers that are seeing traffic. I have Kafka broadcasting that data into Spark Streaming, which keeps track of sessions throughout the day. Dump that information through Hive, which gets stored in HDFS under the hood, and then kick off an Oozie job once a day that queries Hive using Hive query language to figure out the count of how many sessions I saw in the previous day. Nice and simple. Maybe it could be even simpler though. Like I said, if you have an existing sessions database that has data in it already about the sessions that you saw the day before, just use it. Use Scoop and import that data in. Or maybe you can just hit that database directly. Just have a scheduled SQL job that hits that database to get the number you want. Keep it as simple as possible. Maybe you don't even need Hive or HDFS, and that's okay. Now, I did choose to use something like Hive because sessions are a thing that grow continuously over time, and this becomes big data pretty quickly. So it's a case where, an off-the-shelf MySQL instance or something like that probably wouldn't cut it in the long term. You'd fill that up eventually, and then you'd be in a world of hurt. So something scalable and distributed like Hive and HDFS is a good choice for this sort of a thing. But if you have an existing system that somebody else has to maintain, by all means, use it. You don't want to maintain systems you don't have to. So there's my answer, and if you have any thoughts about your own answer and you're watching this course on a platform that supports discussions or Q&A, feel free to talk about it and get some feedback from your fellow students. And there you have it. I hope you had some interesting time developing that solution, and you should have some real experience now in actually thinking about a real problem and throwing the technologies that we've discussed at them. It's been a long journey here, but we've covered a lot of different technologies and a lot of depth even. We've definitely gone for breadth over depth in this course, but I think you know just enough to be dangerous in everything that we've covered. So that's pretty cool. And we've learned how these different technologies can fit together to solve real-world business problems, which is all that really counts when you're in the real world doing this stuff for a living. So congratulations for making it this far in the course. You've really covered and absorbed a lot of very valuable information. So give yourself a little pat on the back. You deserved it. All right.